Hi everybody, welcome to the training. I'm happy you're here. So this week we're talking about why diets don't work. This week's training series has two parts, okay? So today we're starting with the science behind how diets make you fat. And then on Friday, we're gonna talk about the truth and kind of understanding like who to trust when it comes to how to feed yourself, okay? So Friday we're talking about trust, and today we're talking about the science behind how diets make you fat, okay? So I'm gonna be sharing with you some examples, some scientific research and some biology that if you guys are not clear on, I need you to ask me questions, okay? You're gonna wanna ask questions. Here are some reasons that this training is gonna be helpful to you today, okay? So not only is it gonna be helpful to you if you are not meeting your goals, right? If you're not seeing the results you want, then you're gonna pick up something in this training that's gonna resonate with you, okay? But number two, here's one thing that I find with women a lot. We look at somebody we know who's on a diet, okay? So think about somebody you know who's on a diet. Think about your mom, somebody you run into at the grocery store, a friend, an acquaintance, right? And you know that they're on a diet, or they tell you about this diet that they're on. And you feel like a little triggered, right? You feel like some internal discomfort when they tell you about whatever diet they're on. And part of this is like FOMO, right? It's fear of missing out. It's like, oh, what if they do keto and they experience a lot of success? Like, should I be doing keto? Right? I bet you think that. I bet you see somebody who tells you about like, oh, I lost 10 pounds. I just started, paleo. And then we start to think like, oh, should I try that? Or we start to feel jealous, right? We start to feel jealousy around like, I just wish that I could do that, right? Or, if they tell us like, yeah, I just started this cleanse, we're like, should I try that? Because like, I don't want to see them lose a bunch of weight. And then like, we feel like this jealousy around it. So what we talk about today is going to eliminate the possibility of you ever feeling FOMO or jealousy when another woman tells you about a diet she's on, or a diet she's about to start, or the diet that helped her lose 10 pounds, okay? You are never going to feel FOMO or jealousy again. You're never gonna feel triggered again when another woman tells you about her diet, because you are gonna have this foundation that I share with you today, all of this knowledge around what's really happening in that woman's body that she probably doesn't even know about, that you're gonna get to know about, okay? So that's why I'm really excited to share it with you today, because it's gonna be transformational. Lots of breakthroughs coming your way, so get excited. All right, so first we need to talk about what is a diet, okay? Because a lot of times I think we think, I'm not on a diet, I'm just cutting out carbs. You're on a diet! Or we think like, I'm not on a diet, I'm just eating 1,200 calories a day. Oh, you're on a diet, okay? Or we'll be like, I'm not on a diet, I'm just like watching what I eat. Oh, you're stuck in diet mentality, okay? All of these things are going to contribute to you storing fat. And that's what we're talking about today, how diets make you fat, okay? So examples of diets. Are you tracking every calorie? Are you tracking anything? Are you measuring? Are you tracking? Are you counting? Are you buying products from a company, a weight loss company? Are you on shakes? Are you buying their meals? Are you buying their supplements? You're part of a diet. Hate to break it to you. Weight Watchers, keto, paleo, Atkins, South Beach, 1,200 calorie or 1,000 calorie or 800 calorie, no carb or no fat, or cutting out an entire food group. Anything that has you like restricting, you're on a diet, okay? So when somebody tells me like, I'm on something different, it's not a diet, this one is different, or this Nutrisystem or NutriCleanse, this 21-day fix, right? This juice cleanse, it's different. It's not like the other ones. It is not different. flash, all right? It's doing the same exact thing to your body. Guys, I'm gonna get fired up today. I'm gonna get fired up. All right, so here's what happens. Number one, when your body is on any number of those things, okay, any type of restriction, or you're cutting out a food group, or you're consuming these weird like products like protein shakes, or I don't even know what that, you know what I'm talking about. What happens is your body goes into starvation mode. Now stick with me, because you could be like, I'm not starving, like, I know that we get high and mighty about the ways that we eat. But your body doesn't know. Like, even if you're like, I don't feel hungry, I'm fine. Your body is not getting what it needs through whole foods, okay? So when you're on a diet that has you eating 1,200 calories or less, or when you have cut out an entire food group, listen, you can ask any respectable registered dietitian is gonna tell you your body needs carbs, proteins, and fats, all three, okay? A registered dietitian is not gonna tell you your body needs fats and proteins, forget about carbs. So, if you are cutting something out like that, your body's going into starvation mode. What happens when your body's in starvation mode is it starts to store every calorie, okay? Is that what you want? Do you want your body storing every calorie, or do you want your body burning calories? So when your body stores every calorie, here's the bad news. It doesn't store it as muscle. You're not gonna get super strong in starvation mode. It stores it as fat. It stores every calorie as fat. Here's why it stores it. Because it starts to recognize, I'm not getting enough of what I need, so I better hold on to every single little thing that I do get, because I don't know when I'm gonna be able to get what I need again, right? So that's why it's holding on to it. It's holding on to it to keep you alive. It's doing the right thing for all intents and purposes, okay? So it's holding on because, again, it's saying, like, currently I'm not getting enough of what I need, and I don't know when the next time is that I will get a carb, or I will get more than 1,200 calories a day, right? So we're storing each and every calorie as fat, and then here's the second byproduct. When we don't get enough of what we need, our bodies will start to eat away at our muscle, right? So not only are we storing every calorie, but we also have to look to other sources, to sources other than food for our energy. So that's what's happening in our body. Our body starts to break down muscle because it's not getting what it needs through food. Guys, stay with me, because what happens when you lose muscle? So science shows the more muscle you have, the more calories you burn throughout the day. And that's often a motivator for women to do strength training exercises, right? Because they want to be able to burn more calories throughout the day. So when you're in starvation mode and your body is eating away at your muscle and you're decreasing your muscle, you're thereby decreasing your metabolism. Because again, the more muscle you have, the more calories you can burn throughout the day, okay? So if you are decreasing your muscle mass, you are not burning. So as your body eats away at your muscle, your metabolism is decreasing, okay? And then with each and every successive attempt to diet, this gets worse and worse. I hate to break it to you, but this does not get better over time, all right? This is one of those things that, like, once you do the damage, like, it's hard to repair, because here's why. Once you start refeeding yourself, okay, once you start inserting your carbohydrates again, say you cut out carbs and you start reinserting them, right? Your body still isn't gonna be like immediately on board and just trust that carbohydrates are gonna be around forever and ever all the time, okay? So your metabolism is still gonna be slow, because it's still like thinking, you know, I've been deprived of this for however long. Thank you for giving me this, right? But like, it's still not really gonna trust that it's gonna be there to stay. So your metabolism stays slow, okay? and the fat will stick around as well. Okay, when we stored every calorie as fat, that also is sticking around, and then we start refeeding ourselves, right? We get out of deprivation. That part is inevitable, isn't it? Because when we restrict ourselves, it's always going to go to the other extreme, okay? So we go to one extreme, which is restriction, and typically after restriction, I do not see people just come back into the middle where they're like, normal eating, like totally fine. No, they restrict and then they binge. They restrict and then they overeat, okay? Guys, how exhausting this is for you to have to go to extremes. Like, this is a roller coaster. So we restrict and then we binge. And why do we do this? We do this because it's a very natural response to deprivation. It's a very natural response to restriction is binging, because the more you restrict something, the more you crave it, right? If I tell you right now you're not allowed to have pasta for the next 4 weeks, all you're gonna want is like a big bowl of spaghetti. Or if I tell you like something is off limits, you just think about it more, you obsess about it, and you crave it, right? And so we restrict and then we binge, all right? So then, with the binge too, it's like, there you go, putting the weight back on, right? And so like, it's like what I talked about at the beginning of this live was when you see your friend who says they lost 10 pounds on keto, like her body just went into ketosis. Of course she lost 10 pounds fast because it's mostly water weight, by the way. And she like restricted herself a bunch. And she's gonna go in the other direction, you guys. We always do. And people who lose weight and keep it off, like, all right, if they're keeping it off, you know what, that's a topic for a different day. That's a topic for a different day. But, so I want you to know, like, another reason that diets are making you fat is because we have to think about, too, how we're moving our body. And oftentimes exercise and diet go hand in hand, right? Because think about it this way. You wake up on a Monday morning and you're like, I'm going to be super good this week. I'm going all gung-ho. Like, I'm starting this new diet. And I'm going to start, like, exercising a bunch so I can just lose the weight fast, right? So we tend to go all or nothing, right? We tend to be, like, all in. And we're like, I'm just gonna, again, like gung-ho, here we go. I'm gonna do the thing. So then, you're exercising and you're dieting and you're like, I'm doing it. And then once your body starts to starve and you start to feel deprived and restricted, and then you go to that binge phase, well, there goes your exercise too, because you say, oh, it doesn't matter anymore. Forget it, I failed, I'm giving it up. So you stop exercising as much too, right? So diet and exercise go hand in hand. So this is another way that diets can make you fat, right? Because again, you're on this cycle. You're on this roller coaster of restrict, binge, exercise hard, don't exercise at all. How is this sustainable and balanced? So I also want to tell you, a couple of the reasons diets don't work. Did you guys know the statistic is 95% of diets fail? 95% of diets fail. So if the number, guys, is that high, I'm going to tell you, there are going to be a lot of people in that group who try diets who actually have like amazing willpower, right? Think about all of the high-achieving people who've been on a diet. Lawyers, doctors, like smart-ass people, right? Who do diets, who stick to things, right? These are people who persevere. But, the diet is just the one thing. It's the one area of my life that I just can't get it together. Did you ever consider that maybe then the issue is not willpower? Because you see these people with amazing willpower doing amazing things in their lives, sticking to things all the time, but not sticking to a diet. And that's not just like their one area of weakness. No, it's not willpower, you guys. It's not willpower. And we make these things, we always turn it, we're so self-centered that way, you guys. We're like, I failed, I did, we make it mean something about us. It's my willpower. It's actually not. And I hope this frees you, okay? I hope this frees you today. It's not willpower because, listen, you cannot outsmart your biology, okay? Biologically, your body cannot sustain itself on these diets that are 1,200 calories or less, where you're not getting carbs, where you're not getting fats, where you're not getting proteins, where you're cutting out this, you're restricting that. Your body cannot survive, okay? So when you go and you binge or you overeat as a product of this diet, of that deprivation, your body is doing the human thing. It finally was like, feed me, feed me, feed me, feed me, feed me, feed me. And you heard it enough, right? To where you finally just started eating everything. And it's not because you lost your willpower, it's because your biology started kicking in. Your body's trying to keep you alive. It's trying to keep you alive at all costs, okay? So some ways that you can start to recognize the feed me, right? If your body is telling you to feed it more, or it's telling you it's not getting what it needs, is if you're tired all the time, if you're lightheaded, if you're hungry all the time, if you get headaches, right? If things in your body are breaking down in that way, then these are signs, okay? These are really good signs. Our bodies are good at giving us signs if we pay attention and we tune in, okay? And then the last thing I want to say, and I want you guys to ask questions if you have any, but another reason that diets don't work is they steal your autonomy, okay? They steal your ability to make choices for yourself. So this is what we're really going to get into on Friday, is that idea of trust. So when you trust a diet to tell you what to eat, you are not making choices for yourself, right? You're saying, I'll follow this plan, okay? Even if it's prescribed by a doctor or a dietitian, still a diet that you're following, right? You don't have a say. And what happens when we don't have a say is we rebel. It is human nature. This is not something specific to you, okay? Don't think you're failing at diets because you just can't stick with it. It is human nature that when our autonomy is taken away, we go in the opposite direction and we rebel, okay? When we don't have a say, we don't want to stick to it. We don't feel empowered. How disempowering is it to say, I'm going to follow this thing that somebody else is telling me to do just because, those are the rules. But if you don't have a say in creating the rules, like what is your motivation? You have no intrinsic motivation to stick with it, right? Our intrinsic motivation comes from us feeling like we were a part of creating a plan. And that is why I co-create strategies with my clients over 12 weeks. I do not hand them a plan and I say, you will follow this, because what happens is they might follow it for a while just to please me, and then they'll fall off because they did not have a say. How many times did you fall off a plan in your life that somebody else gave to you, right? And it's because this is not a plan that's specific to you at all. It's not a plan that was customized to you, right? Doesn't just naturally fit into your life. It's something that you found somewhere, this external source, and you're trying to follow it to a T. So I'm just telling you, it's only human nature that you're going to rebel against that, all right? And we see this in kids all the time. Kids often hate being told what to do, and you tell them to do one thing, and I don't have kids, so I'm not good at kid examples, but you tell them to do one thing and then they go and do something else, or you tell them they can't have something, then that's all they want, right? So again, it's just human nature, okay? So let's recap then about how diets are making you fat. Well, if you're not taking in more than 1,200 calories a day, or if you're cutting out an entire food group, your body is storing every calorie as fat. It's breaking down your muscle, which decreases your metabolism. Because again, the more muscle you have, the more energy you burn throughout the day. And then diets are going to increase our food obsessions, our cravings, and then lead to binges. Deprivation leads to binge. Restriction leads to overeating. therefore putting the weight back on, right? Diet's just perpetuating this cycle where you're making you fat. Exercise and diet go hand in hand a lot, right? We say I'm starting this new diet, and then we say I'm gonna be really good with my exercise, I'm gonna exercise a lot. The diet fails, so does the exercise. And then, just further statistics about why diets don't work. 95% of diets fail. So it can't be willpower. It can't be that these people just suck at having willpower, right? Because again, there are people in that group who are accomplishing incredible things in their lives but can't seem to follow a diet. And it's because you cannot outsmart biology. Okay? Your body needs to know that it's going to have a consistent stream of energy coming in. Your body needs to be able to trust that you're going to be consistently feeding it. And when it doesn't know that it's going to be consistently fed everything that it needs, which is sufficient calories, carbs, proteins, and fats, when it doesn't know that it's going to get those things, it goes into that starvation mode. And then it starts crying for help. Okay? And you can't outsmart that. You just can't. You cannot rationalize your way out of that in long term. All right? And then the last thing we talked about was how diets steal your autonomy. They take your power away. They disempower you. And so then you feel defeated and you give up or you rebel and you go the opposite direction, because that is human nature. That is not a weakness in you. That is just what's bound to happen when you're placed on a plan that has you depriving yourself and restricting yourself, and it tells you you cannot have what you want and need. This will always backfire. When you feel like your needs are not being met, and when your body knows that its needs are not being met, and when you feel like you cannot have what you want, the thing that you want is off limits, it will always backfire. You're always going to fail from that stance, okay? So what's the answer then is to think about how we can always operate from a place where we're in control, we're in the driver's seat, we're empowered, right? And that's why I said I help clients co-create these custom strategies where we're brainstorming together, like what is your ideal, right? What is your ideal for your life? Forget all the outside noise. Forget all those external sources and plans that you're picking up. Forget that. Forget what you think is working for your friend or what your mom says is working for her, right? We know the truth now. We know what's going to happen. We know what happens every time. Okay? So you need to think about then how can you be in control? And how can you be the authority in your life and stop giving your power away to diets? How can you really set yourself up for success, knowing now that 95% of diets fail? By going on another diet, are you setting yourself up for success? Do you think you're going to be part of that 5% where it didn't fail? Don't take that chance. Don't take that chance. The perceived benefit outweighs the risk. No, other way around. The risk outweighs the perceived benefit. I never know. Okay, I think that's my 2 cents. But thank you guys for watching, and I will see you on Friday. We're going to talk about how to know who to trust when it comes to diets, okay, and what happens with trust. That's going to be the big idea on Friday, all right? Have a great day. I will see you Friday. Bye-bye.